When a state trooper stops a car on a highway, they are trained to expect anything. However, these officers in Carroll County, Georgia, did not expect this outrageous car chase. You never really expect a high-speed car chase with AK-47s, not in the real world. What really went down that fateful day in April 2021? And where is the culprit now? Let's watch the shocking body cam footage that recorded it all. On April 12, 2021, a group of officers were carrying out their night duty in Carroll County, Georgia, west of Atlanta. In the very early hours of that day, they noticed a Nissan Sentra driving at over 100 miles per hour along the interstate. Of course, this was far above the legal limit, so the troopers hopped in their cars and began chasing the speeding vehicle. Before they even managed to pull the driver over, authorities identified the owner of the car as Aaron Shelton. But that night, his cousin, Pierre Shelton, was with him, seated in the passenger seat. The dash camera shows a minutes-long chase where the Nissan attempts to outspeed the trooper's car. But after a little while, the two cousins decide to pull over and face the authorities. However, this was far from the end of that night. As the trooper exits his patrol car to approach the Nissan to speak to the men, that's when the real reason they stopped is shown. The car speeds off, catching the officer off guard as he runs as fast as he can back to his patrol car to pursue the fleeing suspect. So the trooper rushes into the car and the chase begins again. This time, the chase is even faster, with the trooper struggling to catch up with the Nissan. Finally, it seems like the trooper is close enough to the Nissan to try and pull it over. Here, the dash camera shows the trooper zeroing in on Aaron's car and tapping it in order to stop it. But even this did not stop Aaron and Pierre Shelton. Here's what happens next. Yep, the car straightens out, carries on, and the passenger, Pierre Shelton, pulls out an AK-47 firearm. He points it at the trooper and opens fire.
Shots fired, shots fired.
At this point, the troopers call for backup and several units respond. These men had to be arrested at any cost, and they had to be stopped soon. If they had an AK-47 and thought nothing of using it against a trooper, who knows what they could have done next? County sheriff's deputies, as well as local officers, responded to the call immediately. Several first responders' dash cameras showed the same high-speed chase carried out across countless interstates. Finally, there seemed to be a break in the chase.
6-6, back off of them, back off of them, back off. Let's see what they do. Dispatch, we're right here going 69 miles an hour. I'm waiting to see what we do. We're turning right on Bankhead Highway. All right, get me some people up here. Let's get ready to do felony stop. If not, we will pit.
This was Carroll County Sergeant Rob Holloway talking to dispatch and giving instructions to his officers.
All right, back it off. Back off just a little. We're going to follow at this distance. Dispatch, we're going 60 miles an hour. Bankhead Highway. We're passing Barnes Store. Get Villarica set up. Spikes at Bay Springs. Hey, just make sure we're backed off just enough, okay? I'm going to try to turn on my scene lights. Dispatch, we are going about 90 miles an hour. We are coming up on Old Airport Road.
Rob Holloway was hoping to keep a safe distance and observe the cousins' behavior, but the cousins were out for blood that night. Within seconds of his last message to dispatch, shots were fired again.
They're hitting their brakes. I'm waiting to see what they're about to do. I know, but I don't want to get up here where they're moving around. I'd rather go ahead and disable them.
Shockingly, Rob Holloway was shot in the head and crashed his squad car just seconds later. This moment shows the dangers of working on the right side of the law in the worst way possible. This brave sergeant was out to catch a couple of hardened criminals, and instead of arresting them, he almost died. Indeed, through nothing short of a miracle, Rob Holloway survived his injury and pulled through. The same moments were caught with two different dash cameras that night. Rob Holloway's car can be clearly seen crashing. The officers behind him quickly realized something had gone off and called for paramedics to arrive at the crash scene ASAP. Moments later, officers can be seen taking cover by ducking behind their parked patrol cars, but some of the officers drove over to a new location. Officer Chase Gordy was one of the many officers who responded to the backup call that night. Chase Gordy was just taking cover in front of his car when shots could be heard in the distance. Chase ducked down even lower and called for backup, but before any backup could arrive, more shots were fired directly at the officer. This is the most shocking part of the dash camera footage. In a matter of seconds, Chase Gordy is hit, and the suspect, Aaron Shelton, is seen in front of his car, holding the AK-47. Chase Gordy's body cam also captured the moment from a different angle.
He's on my car! He's on my car! He's behind my car.
Chase Gordy was shot in the shoulder and the leg. That night, 3 first responders were shot: Rob Holloway, Chase Gordy, and Deputy Jay Repetto. Luckily, though, all of them pulled through after they were treated in hospital. But wait, wasn't Aaron's cousin Pierre the one holding the AK-47 inside the car? Well, in the shootout with the officers, Pierre lost his life. Aaron took over the killing spree manically until he was arrested. The only person who died that night was his own cousin. Aaron Shelton was just 25 years old at the time of his arrest. He was a resident of Birmingham, Alabama. After his arrest, Aaron was charged with multiple counts of felony murder, aggravated assault on law enforcement officers, aggravated on law enforcement officers, felony fleeing and attempting to elude, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and countless other charges. Rob Holloway retired from the force after his brush with death. Deputy Joe Repetto was put on temporary disability leave after being shot in the arm. It was Deputy Repetto who unalived Aaron's cousin Pierre. When he and Aaron Shelton made eye contact during his trial, Aaron gave him a very cold look. Did he not realize that he and his cousin had started the chaos that resulted in Pierre's death? It's not like the deputy just went over to Pierre and fired at him for no reason. Not only did Aaron not seem to realize he had started the whole situation, he showed zero remorse throughout his trial and refused to apologize to anyone for his actions. Rob Holloway was in rehab for months after the incident, and he will forever be affected physically and emotionally by that incident. Several officers will deal with PTSD after this chase, and Pierre's loved ones will forever mourn his untimely death. Yet Aaron did not show any emotion. Aaron Shelton got a very serious punishment for a very serious crime. He was found guilty of all charges and received the maximum prison sentence. Rob Holloway returned to his community in a glorious way, surrounded by cheering people, congratulating him for surviving a near-death experience.
From the day Rob Holloway was shot in the head by this man, to the day he returned to his community months later, to his first day back at work a year afterwards, it's been a journey.
Indeed, Rob returned to work eventually, as he missed being by his colleagues' side. He also took the opportunity to speak out about his experience and warn people about other criminals like the Sheltons.
To know that kind of evil is out there, Mr. Doe, it was just upsetting, very emotional.
Rob was also asked about his stance toward Aaron Shelton. His answer was surprising.
I forgive him. I pray for his salvation and Pierre's. From that day, I forgive him, both of them.
Rob's forgiveness is even more surprising considering what he heard during the trial. Several of Aaron's phone calls were played in court. In one of them, he can be heard laughing about shooting Rob in the head. He was proud of himself, almost a bit disappointed he hadn't managed to take Rob's life. Now, he is rotting in jail, and all officers are alive and well. Like they said, the good guys won, but they won this round. There are still countless hardened criminals out there, and officers are risking their lives every day to put them behind bars. Let's just hope no more officers will have to go through what these 3 brave guys did. Hey, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you know similar stories? Let me know in a comment. And before you go, make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time.